What is up guys, Speed here, and today we are back with another video, and what we are going to be talking about is how to dominate your lane and then snowball afterward. I see this common issue where people will have last pick, they'll have second to last pick, or basically they'll be able to see their lane and it won't mean anything, right? They'll just draft a useless hero, and even if they do draft a counter matchup, they won't apply certain tips or tactics that allow them to actually crush your lane. So what we're going to go over is how to crush your lane, right? How to absolutely dumpster your opponent and then transition that lead into a bigger net worth advantage by not necessarily killing, but by creating space and opening up the map. Now before we hop into the main content of this video, I just want to let you guys know that you can check out guides just like this one made by top tier pros and have over thousands of different options over at gameleap.com. Now let's get into the main video. So the first point before we start looking at the replay to make points is learning matchups. Now this is kind of the first step. If you haven't already learned winning matchups, I recommend you either watch my meta videos, you go on Dota Buff and look at the better matchups, or you simply listen to streamers or watch what they have to say, or watch the lanes that they actually win. This is something you can easily pay attention to, and as a result, win lanes simply through picking a hero that does well in the game. Now the next point is talking about playing for CS, right? You must play in the early waves for CS. You notice in this lane in particular, my range creep immediately gets aggroed. What is the response? I have my Doom. This was a lane I played in, so I have my Doom, set up the creep, and therefore I'm able to get the CS without potentially getting denied. After that, using creep aggro, right? These 2 points are synergistic. Playing for CS and using creep aggro are the 2 things you need to learn in order to win the early levels, because in the early levels, typically, you can't just crush people in terms of harass, right? There's a few lanes that can do this, maybe like a shaman or something like that, but typically, in the majority of matchups, you can't, so you must play for CS. So what we do, we double team the range creep, guaranteeing the CS, and then after that, I use creep aggro, and you notice what happens. The lane gets dragged all the way back, and I'm able to secure nearly both of the CS. Unfortunately, I get denied. But regardless, this brings the lane a little bit back. You notice we're not under his tower, and as a result, we can apply pressure if needed. So the next point comes when I'm level 2, right? At level 1, Necrophos is a hero that does not have a spell, so this next point won't apply. But what it is that you should use spells for CS and denies at all costs. Way too many players playing any hero that has a nuke. Arc Warden, Storm Spirit, Necrophos, Brimstroke, they just won't use their spells to secure CS, and not only that, they'll use their spells and set up denies, like for the opponent. You need to be very diligent in using your spells to get denies in CS. You notice here, the lane is pushing up and the Grimstroke wants to harass me, but he does not take into consideration what his spell will do to the creeps. It does 2 things. His life stealer loses his CS here, and it gives me a free deny. That is very bad, right? Because these early levels, as I said, most of it comes down to CS. Then once I hit my level 2, I see the CS coming up. This is how you punish people staticking for the creeps, right? Every time you see someone about to go for a last hit and you have a spell up, this is how you get the maximum damage. I auto attack him and I use my spell to secure the CS, and as a result, I get a fair amount of damage on him, right? Nothing crazy. We're still level 2, but I'm setting him up, right? I'm setting myself up to win the lane afterwards. You notice I do it again. I hit the Grimstroke and I nuke the CS. And finally, I'm going to give one more example of it. You notice this melee creep is coming up, and their lifestealer begins to go very aggressive. So I want to maximize my trades. They're going aggressive, so I'm maximizing trades. That is what's important in Dota, right? So here, I see this melee creep coming up. I kind of make a mistake, and I actually don't get the last hit. The idea is there, though. I use my Death Pulse to secure the last hit, and I'm hitting the Grimstroke, which does a ton of damage to him. Right? I don't care about taking creep aggro, right, because I am a Necrophos, so that's something that's hero dependent, but still, the idea is there, where I'm using my right clicks to harass the enemy, and my spells to harass, but also get CS, and this maximized damage in the early levels. You notice, because I picked a winning matchup, right, I last picked this Necro into the Lifestealer, because I know this is a good matchup. I'm playing to my advantage. I'm harassing through auto attacks, securing, once again, right, over and over, same pattern, punishing his attempts to deny, and using that as an opportunity to hit him. Even when he's last hitting, right, I'm still hitting him. I know I'm in an advantageous matchup, so I'm playing like I'm in an advantageous matchup. There are way too many players who simply just don't play like they're ahead. If you're going to pick a winning matchup, you have to play to the strengths of your hero. If you don't know what that is, you should watch any sort of guide, a Twitch VOD, a YouTube guide, or just a pro replay. There's a ton of different ways you can learn that, but you want to use those tips to get ahead in the laning stage. You notice after this, it's basically just repeating, rinse and repeat, creep aggro, denies, last hits. They come up for a CS, creep aggro, denies, last hits, but also, in addition to that, hitting them. You notice we make this great play, just to kind of show it off, another solid play you can make in the lane stage whenever you see the lane is pushing in, and there's denies coming up. But you're in a winning position, right? The lifestealer can't approach. We focus on denies. You see me pinging it out, get the denies, prep the denies, and as a result, we're able to get 2 denies before the lifestealer can even get to the creep wave. After that, I'm positioning aggressive. Notice my position. Where am I standing? I'm not standing here, right? I'm not standing behind the wave. I'm super far ahead. I'm going to play as if I can kill him, but what am I not doing? I'm not killing myself to kill him. I'm waiting until there is a very clear gap in which I can dive. Maybe when there's a creep wave under tower, or he's in range of 1 spell to kill him. You notice, so here, I'm continuing to push in the lane, standing in front so that he can't get any of the CS if needed, and then once again performing the same tactic, auto attack nuke, and finally, now that their creeps are under tower, I'm able to dive. Sure, we get juked. Very unfortunate. He kind of breaks our ankles, not gonna lie, but still, what happens? We don't take any tower shots, maybe 1 or 2, but we barely take any shower shots, and the lifestealer has to go all the way back to base. And sure, have we killed him yet? Right? Have we killed this lifestealer? No, we have not. He's not died. But he has no denies and 13 CS, and I have 22 and 5. And not only that, he is now walking back to the base. Getting ahead in CS by like 7 denies or 5 denies and 10 last hits is much better than a kill. It's better than a kill. Take that into consideration. You do not have to kill people in a winning matchup, especially when you're a sustain hero, to win the lane. You notice, we look at the lifestealer's levels, he's level 3.5, I'm level 4.5. That is plenty of an advantage, and now that I have this advantage built within the early levels, I'm simply going to play as aggressive as possible. In the early levels, you need to say, okay, probably, most likely, I can't actually pressure them in the early levels, but I'm going to use my hero's advantage in the early levels to build a CS and deny lead, which then allows me to kill. People look at it backwards. They're like, I can get kills, which then allows me to win the CS, right? I'll kill him in the early levels, and therefore, I'll get more last hits. No, it's I can get more last hits, and as a result, I build a level advantage, which in turn allows me to kill them and apply pressure. And at this point, sure, the lifestealer hits level 4 when I'm level 4, but who cares? I can just dive him and use my hero matchup that I intentionally picked to just run at him, right? Now we're just running at him over and over and over again. There's no way he can last hit, right? There's just no way. 18 and 2 at 6 minutes is not great. It's not great for a hard carry that typically needs a very good laning stage. And now, build up our advantage, and we dive them under tower, get a double kill, right? We didn't get this double kill because we had previous kills. No, we got it because of my phase boots, my magic wand, and my level advantage. Now let's move on to how you can actually snowball your advantage, right? Now, at this point, you know how to win your lane, or how you can win your lane, and at this point, we're diving the tier 2 tower. Let's go. That's our plan. We're gonna keep going. We're just running at this guy, right? My goal as the lane dominator, even if I'm a safe lane hero, is to continue to shut down the enemy. Shutting down the enemy is just as important as setting up your own farm. So at this point, we're gonna run at them, we get a Grimstroke kill, and as a result of diving, we force 2 TPs. Their Sand King and their Ember Spirit, right? That is huge. 2 TPs does a few things, right? Sure, it gets me killed. We're able to pick up the Lifestealer kill. So, I mean, because we're this far ahead, I can still make something out of it. But what's important is we look around the map. Mid-tower, taking a large amount of damage. Right? A huge amount of damage. Sven, completely free farming. Right? This is huge. Massive. You can create pressure even if you die. So if you're having a good game and you die under their tier 2 to a 4-man rotation, who cares? It doesn't matter. But at least make the play. Right? Make the play. If you are in an advantageous position, do not go back to the jungle and farm. If you are any sort of hero who can pressure anywhere on the map, the better play is to continue pressuring in the lanes, pressuring in the map, and shutting down their important cores. So you might say, well, what if I'm a hard carry? What if I'm a hero like Terrorblade or Anti-Mage? Do I want to run at them if I'm ahead? Well, typically on those heroes, you don't have the capability to run at them, and therefore you don't, right? That is why we're talking about winning matchups. If you won your lane, if you're an Anti-Mage and you're level 8 to a level 7 Darkseer, you won your lane. Yes, you can run at that Darkseer. Well, what if it shuts down my farm? It doesn't matter. It's fine. You're shutting down his farm. You're basically creating a net worth lead by shutting down the enemy's farm. Right? by running at people and creating pressure, you're also gaining a net worth lead, right? The overall goal of Dota is not necessarily to get 6 slotted, because if you get 6 slotted and the enemy team is also 6 slotted, who cares, right? It's to get 6 slotted before they do. So you notice at this point, this is a common trend. This is kind of how I like to play the off lane, or play these aggressive sort of lane dominators, especially when I get an advantage. I don't see anyone on the map, and you could be like, Speed, what are you doing? You're gonna die. This is so foolish. But in my eyes, I look at this as my Sven is going to be able to play bottom with his ward. My TA is going to be able to farm jungle. My Abba is going to be able to do whatever he wants. I don't know where Shu's going, but he can do whatever he wants. And my Doom can also farm some of the jungle if he wants, or he can rotate over. So you notice I get gone on here, but does it matter? Not really. I'm going to live for as long as possible. I pop my Ghost Shroud, pop my wand. I run into them, I cast my spells. I stay alive for as long as possible. They rotate 4 heroes to kill me. What happens? Yeah, sure. Our net worth lead only goes down to around 5k. I think it was maybe at 6k when I was starting to get ganked. So yeah, it was at 6k. So you could say, okay, well, it's 6k net worth and it goes down to 5k, so you made a mistake, right? Sure, dying is not optimal, but you also need to look at it on the reverse end. Can we have a 6k lead in the first place if I'm not playing the hard lane and spreading out the farm when we have a lead, right? We have a lead, so if I just walk behind the TA and farm our jungle camps, what's going to happen? Their lifestealer's going to free farm top, I'm going to restrict my TA's farm, and as a result, there's no lead, right? Push in lanes. When you're ahead, especially on a hero that doesn't have to hard carry the game, even if you are one, you are going to create a lead. You notice we get the mid tower even though it gets denied. Trash TA. I'm kidding. But right, even if you put yourself in a position to die, that has a dual effect. Sure, it gets you killed, but what else does it do? It opens up the map and it allows your teammates to free farm, right? Don't look at the game as only yourself. There are way too many hard carry players or even offlane players who solely focus on themselves, so they go back to the jungle. They're like, oh, I'm ahead, I can't die, I can't feed away my streak. No, open up the map, take the hard farm, and taking hard farm guarantees that your carries will be farming. Yeah, you might be complaining, well, my hard carry keeps getting ganked, right? How can we win this game if my carry is 0-5? Half the problem's probably you. Take some responsibility. Were you taking farm away from them, right? Were you playing the easy lane when you had a lead? You have to consider this. If you are not, you are simply going to continue to shut down your carry. You are indirectly shutting down your carry. You don't want to shut down your own carry. So walking on the other side of the map is what's going to help them, right? You do not have to sit behind an anti-mage to help him farm to guarantee that it doesn't die. What you have to do is run to the literal opposite side of the map. Go as far away as you can. Please listen to that. So you notice at this point in the game, it's around 12 minutes in. What am I doing? I'm a Necrophos. I'm not a hero that sets up plays, okay? If I'm a Pangolier, if I'm a Centaur Axe with Blink Dagger, sure, maybe I could be top with my team right now. Notice, but what else can I do? I can go bottom. I can push in the lane. Sure, I get ganked, but the same thing applies. I'm farming the lane. We probably should have disengaged here, but we managed to get killed. We actually throw a large lead. That was mostly due to the misplay, not because of the concept. Mostly because of the misplay. If I die alone, who cares, right? It would have been a slight net worth swing. Anyway, my team could help me if they dive me. But look what happens in the end. Sven's farming top. We nearly get the tier 2. He can continue farming this whole side of the map. I mean, look how easy this Sven's game is, right? It's so simple. He can stack camps. There's no pressure in his triangle. He pushes in the lane. He's going to keep going. Farms the camp. I mean, basically, it's just a free game. It's a free game for my carry. Even my TA, look, they're just both farming away. They're farming away. I don't have to sit with them and go fight to win the game, right? You do not have to go gank people to get a net worth lead. That is the main point of this video. If there's anything you take away from this video, it is that you do not have to play with your team to gain a lead, right? They can fight for themselves. I can shut down the lifestealer farm. You notice I'm taking a stack that was created. In the meanwhile, basically, there's other methods to winning the game than ganking. Because sometimes you're going to pick a hero like Ench, Necro, who doesn't set up kills, and you're going to run around and simply fall behind. So instead, what am I doing? I'm taking Lifestealer's jungle camps. I TP out. It's funny, right? There's nothing for him to farm. I didn't know that was going to happen, but this creates a net worth lead. I take the hard farm. I TP back. I run at the Lifestealer, and I'm pushing in this lane again. And let's check out the net worth. Right? We're top 3. Top 3. Even my 4 is having a good game. Sure, I didn't get the bounty runes, alright? You could call me trash. But does this make sense to you guys? I hope it does, right? Playing on the opposite side of the map, my team's dying. Is the net worth lead decreasing? No. We won our lanes, and as a result of me playing on the opposite side of the map, we keep our farm up, I keep my farm up. It's a low risk, high reward play, right? On the off chance that we actually manage to turn around a gank, the net worth is going to go off the charts, right? If in that bottom fight, for instance, when they dove me, we managed to turn it around, the game would have been basically over. At this point, we're already having a free game. They have no map control, right? No tier 1 tower, no tier 1 tower middle, none top. Why is this happening? Why? Because I'm defending the tier 1 tower bottom. I've pushed in the lane. Yeah, sure, they gank me. But if we go back to the 12-minute mark, let's check out what's the response after they gank me. So what's the response when I die? What do I do when I respawn? I TP back bottom! You cannot stop me from farming. It's impossible. You cannot stop me. I will not let you have the tower. Keeping the tier 1 bottom alive does do good things, right? I see a lot of players say, okay, it's a dead lane concept. Let it go. Yeah, let it go. Okay, you can let it go. If you're just going to instant die and they're going to get the tower anyway, yeah, let it go. Right? Be smart about it. But if they have to commit an absurd amount of resources and sacrifice free farm spend to contest me and run at me, I'm totally fine with that. I'm keeping the tower in, so as a result, they can't take over any of this jungle, right? If they take this tier 1, what naturally happens? They get the entire jungle. They're going to ward it up. They're going to catch out my TA. They have a bounty hunter, a Ember, a Sand King, a Grimstroke. They can run around and look for kills. Why can't they? Because I'm not giving them the tier 1. I'm using my advantage to secure the map, right? I'm not running around killing anyone. And I know I keep saying this, but I just want to get this in the back of your head. I think this makes so much sense, and it's an idea that people just don't understand, where you do not have to go kill anyone. And even if you die, it can be for the better. My death top, I think, was good. My death bottom, not great, but like, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. In general, this is the way to open up the map for your teammates if you do not want to have to be some hard carry player, right? The tips earlier will apply for any lane. You can win your lane in any situation, but these tips, these mid-game tips, are great if you just want to open up the map. And even if, let's say you're a hard carry and your teammates are taking the easy farm, you can still do this and open a map for them, right? And what will in turn happen is that they have good games, so that they can delay the game and you'll inevitably catch up. This tactic of TPing bottom and running at people in the hard lane, let's say I'm a Batrider, Beastmaster, Brewmaster, Doom, I can do this on any hero that has good survivability or lane shove, or it's just tanky, and as a result, we're spreading out the farm and creating a net worth lead. It works on a lot of these heroes that are lane dominators. So learn the matchups, play for CS, use creep aggro, use spells for CS and denies while auto-attacking the enemy. When ahead, position aggressively, buy early stats to increase your lead. You notice I have a Bracer, Wand, Veil. I'm just going all stats. I'm committing to playing the lanes. And then after that, play the dead lane, buy wards to secure your area, do whatever it takes to keep the map open for your carry. And that should help you snowball your lead. This is not your typical video where I'm telling you to play the jungle, to use smokes. This is kind of different. Maybe you've seen this before. You could let me know if you have in the comments down below. But I think for a lot of people, this is a foreign concept of actually dying for the benefit of your team. Dying when you're ahead can be the right play if you're creating space. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I'm hoping to make a lot more in-depth guides like this that talk about very complex concepts, right? These are ideas that you're not going to see in every video. You're not even going to be able to recognize concepts like this in a Twitch stream, right? It's just very hard. So hopefully now you can use concepts like this and identify them in pro matches that you play, in Twitch streams. That's the best thing you can do. So, alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, but before I leave you, I just want to let you know and remind you that over at gameleap.com we have thousands and thousands of guides made just like this one by top tier pros so that you can learn the game of Dota in depth and gain MMR as fast as possible.